Hello witches, this is week 2 heading up to Halloween, and I am continuing my series talking about mythical creatures. Now today we are talking about fairies, and I'm going to be busting some bubbles on fairy belief, and this is nothing that I can prove. I do have 3 spirits here who identify as fairies, and they have told me, not only just in the past few days, but when they first came in, they did tell me this stuff, and once again they did repeat it. So we're going to be busting a little fairy bubble here today. Now, fairies are not itty bitty tiny little creatures that flit around fields and everything. Just as we humans, although some people still don't believe it, just as we humans are descended from the apes in the course of evolution, they too are a different form descended from like prehistoric, like pterodactyls and like the prehistoric, birds like that. Fairies did have wings. That's what set them away from the ape descendants, the Homo sapiens. Unfortunately, they're not the beautiful gossamer, flowy, transparent, glittery type wings that most people know. They're more like bat wings, and they showed me what their wings used to look like. Now, it was like a bone, like a large bone coming out, almost like if you picture a pterodactyl wing, it has the bone there. It's like a large bone, and then it had skin, like skin over the frame. It had like the fingers on it. It was like a picture like a large bat wing. It had skin over the wing. And these were remnants of evolution. These wings would not support their weight in flights. They were basically like if we still had a tail on us today, what are we going to do from it? We can't hang from the trees with it anymore. It's just there. Of course, they didn't have doctors to lop it off back then. It was just part of evolution. So, yes, fairies did have wings. Of course, they weren't known as fairies. That's what we refer to them as today. Now, did they have any special powers? No, they did not. Just like, just like a human, the way they descended down, it's the same type of, humans aren't making like crazy stuff happen, and, same thing with fairies. Now, they told me that they were in cold climates. They were like up in the Arctic, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, lands like that. And I asked them, I said, there's like fairy lore in Ireland and the UK. And I said, did you ever, venture down there? They said, no, we were in the cold climates. They never ventured that far south. So they were up where it was, like frigid cold. Now, the youngest fairy spirit that I have here says that they are 17,000 years old. Now, I 3 here, I believe. There might be a 4th one floating around, or she might be a nymph. I'm not sure. They told me that the oldest one is 28,000 years old here. Now, as to what fairies can do. Once they crossed over to their spirit realm, there's a difference. The fairies that I have here, they said that they have traveled around the world. They have learned about different cultures. They have learned to speak other languages. They have watched other rituals and the emergence of different cultures. So there are, and they made it clear to me, not all fairies did this type of thing. They keep in mind this is, before religion and everything else. So most of the spirits that we would consider to be fairies don't have a heaven or a hell. So most of them are still here on Earth. So what are they going to do for thousands and thousands of years? Well, some just stay where they are, and, you might think of them more as elemental type spirits. But some fairies got wanderlust, and they traveled around, and they learned about different cultures. They learned about different things. Now, I can't speak for all fairies. I just know the ones that are here. They're telling me that most fairies are not capable of, like, magic. They're not like the pranksters. They're not out to do any evil against people. But they said that they're more based in earth magic. They have some powers now that they are in the spirit realm to manipulate certain things, but it's not along the lines of a Jinn spirit. These fairies, they tend to do more like it. You can call upon a fairy to help with your crops, to help grow. And if you're doing spells with earth magic for like grounding, centering, and clarity, they are excellent to call upon to aid you in that. But if you're talking about, oh, I want to manipulate the weather, or I need to bring luck or money, the fairies can't help you with that. They said that that's not their area of expertise. Now, it could be different with some fairies, but my fairies here are telling me that's the way it is with pretty much all of them. Now, I said, do fairies still exist in some form today? And they said yes, because their kind intermingled with what we now call Homo sapiens. So basically, they interbred, and we do still have fairies living among us today, but much like we lost our tails, they lost their wings. So to burst some people's bubbles, fairies are not magical creatures. They are not will-o'-the-wisps either. They are not out to play pranks or to be malicious to humans. They were a consequence of evolution that has kept evolving, and they have lost their wings. Although sometimes you will hear of medical anomalies, and you can do the research on this. Sometimes people will have like nubs at their back, or I don't want to say the hump. I don't know so much of that, but I have heard of medical anomalies where there are like our nubs at the back, like there are wings. And guess what? That's a descendant of. So they were just evolving the way that we did. And I know some people don't believe in evolution, so they're just going, and some people want to think of the beautiful fairies, and they're going to be like, nah, she's just there, she's talking out of her ass. And that's fine. Everybody's free to believe whatever they want to believe. And like I said, I physically don't have any proof of this. I can't back it up other than what my spirits are telling me. And they do have a different aura, I will say that. They do not have the same aura as evolved humans. Because they're kind of like on a different level. And it's very hard to explain unless you can read auras and you have one of them in front of you and you're like, oh, this is different. This is not what I'm used to. So it's kind of like you have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. And for people that don't read auras or energy, yeah, it is very hard. I mean, that just like makes the field even narrower and trying to, you know, understand what I'm talking about. But these spirits definitely have a different energy. They have a different aura, and they are not what you would call the typical humans today. Are they demons? Oh no. No, I can definitely tell the difference between a human and a demon, and demons do exist. And that is something else I'm going to get into in another video. But trust me, this is, you know, they're not trying to pull my leg or anything like that. These are definitely, they weren't humans as we know it, but they were not birds. They were not pterodactyls. They were, you know, I mean, think about what a Neanderthal looked like, you know, the heavy brow and that. So kind of like picture them almost like that, but maybe like with thicker skin because they were in cold climates and with like almost bat wings. So that pretty much covers what I was going to talk about on fairies. If you have any further questions, if you wanted to know more about them, or you wanted me to ask them a specific question to clarify something for you, please either email me or leave the question under this video, and I will be happy to answer it for you, or they will answer it for you through me. And if you like this sort of thing, please like this video, subscribe, and let me know that you want more videos like this and about spirit or witch life. And I shall be back next week with a new video. Bye, witches.